Hello guys, it's Yuusha Steve here, and today I'm going to bring you a deck profile of my HP Lovecraft deck. I'm pretty much going to show you the deck, the cards I run in it, and I'm also going to explain to you basic strategies of how the deck runs. Starting off here are 3 Psychic Commanders, level 3 Psychic Tuner, that's an E-Tele target, pretty much what he's used for. Junk Synchron, he's used for his ability to bring back any level 1 monster from my graveyard, and then Synchroning from my Cthulhu. Neo Finville Hedgehog, I run him because he's a level 3 tuner that's a rekindling target. And then I run 2 Ghost Trick Lanterns, a basic hand trap that negates attacks. 2 Boost Warriors, a level 1 non-tuner monster that special summons himself from the hand if I have a tuner, so very helpful. Then I have 2 Tuning Mirrors. Overall, really good card for my deck. He goes well with all my tuners, and I net a card from using him to synchro for Cthulhu, which will later on net me another card when I XYZ or fuse with Cthulhu. 2 Dr. Craniums. The only reason why I run Dr. Cranium isn't to search, but for the fact that he's a level 1 non-tuner E-Tele target. That's honestly the only reason. 3 Battle Fader. Battle Fader is just so good. It ends the battle phase. It's just a really good hand trap, and it's level 1, so I can synchro with it. I run 3 instant fusions here. Pretty much summons Nodin, which is one of the main cards for the combos in this deck. 3 flash fusions used for summoning Nodin. They are quick play spell cards, which is very helpful when going for OTKs. 2 reinforcements to the army for searching Junk Synchron or Boost Warrior. 1 Super Poly for using my opponent's monsters to summon Nodin. 3 E-Teles for summoning the Psychics. And 3 Refusions. Down here, for abusing Nodin more. Pretty much I just want to abuse Nodin. 1 Rekindling. Pretty much for Rekindling, I can start summon Hedgehog Boost Warriors to synchro for more Cthulhu's, and it can also bring back Cthulhu's that are already in my graveyard. Really good card. 2 Mirror Force and a composed basic trap cards for defense. 3 Call the Haunted. Bring back any tuners and non-tuners I need. It also brings back Cthulhu, and it helps me abuse Nodin more. Down here in extra deck, I have Balmung, Knight of Evil Ward. Another level 4 synchro I could go for if I run out of Cthulhu's. Also, when he's destroyed by card effect, I could bring back Nodin and abuse more cards. Utopia and Incarnate Gorgon, just really basic level 4, or not level 4, rank 4 monsters I can use to XYZ summon with Cthulhu and Nodin if I'm trying to push for game, or if I don't have Nodin and I just have 2 Cthulhu's, I draw 2 cards for going for one of them, and they're just good defensive cards. Also, Incarnate Gorgon is also pretty good for reflecting Fiendish Chain targets and breakthrough skill targets to other monsters. 2 Gaga Samurai. He is honestly a really good card. He is pretty much a generic Blade Armor Ninja. So unfortunately he's OCG exclusive, but he can be ran in any deck. He's a 19 hitter, so only 300 less than Blade Armor Ninja, and he can attack twice. So attacking directly with him is 38 total damage, which is just really good. And then also, if one of your monsters is a target for attack, you can move them to defense mode to make them target him instead. So he can also save your important monsters. Now to get into the more important cards in the deck, 3 Elder God Nodin. The main fusion of the entire deck. He's used for the main combo for Azathoth. He's pretty much just meant to bring back Cthulhu, XYZ summon into Narla. So going on into Cthulhu, right here, is the level 4 Synchro. He and Nodin are the only level 4 monsters along with Balmung that I run in the deck for XYZ summoning. Because if I'm XYZ summoning, I want to do it with them. Namely to say Nodin and Cthulhu. Because I want to go for Azathoth first. Really good. If you flash fusion with them, you draw 2 cards. If you flash fusion 2 of them, you draw 2 cards. If you super poly him and your opponent's monster, you draw a card out of it. If you XYZ with them, 2 of them, for like a Utopia or kind of Gorgon, you draw 2 cards. and then overlaying him with Noden draws you another card. So he's just meant to help you go as fast as possible. Also, he has an additional effect that I don't use often, but whenever he Synchro Summon, he can return all rank 4 monsters on the field to the extra deck. Now this is really good against some decks, namely to say, Zell Weapon Utopia. You can send their Utopia back to the deck if they have him with Zell Weapons. And you can also send back Evil Storms. So Evil Storms also hurt from this. Neither of those are very meta decks right now as examples, but another good example I suppose would be Satella Knights, as most of their cards are ranked for as well. And then next is the XYZ you'll be going for using these two cards is Outer Guard Nyla. This has to be the first XYZ you go for if you have Noden and Chathuga. Pretty much its effect is when it's XYZ summon, you can increase his rank by 1 by discarding any number of cards. You never have to use that effect. That effect is absolutely pointless. I don't know any reason why you're going to discard cards from your hand in this set. His next effect is once per turn you can target one monster in graveyard, attach all XYZ materials from this card, and then attach the XYZ material as target to him, and then he gains the type and attribute of the XYZ material. That effect is only useful for if you're trying to push for game and you don't have a Noden or Chathuga engrave, or you have a Noden and you have one Noden and one Chathuga engrave, and you have 2 refusions. You can refusion Noden, bring back Chathuga, go Nyla, detach both of them, just select any monster from your graveyard, and then you can throw Azathoth on top of Nyla to get another 24 hitter, and then you can just refusion and go for Samurai. And if you already got Azathoth's effect off that turn, Samurai and 2 Azathoths this game. And then the last card, and the main card of the entire deck, is Outer Guard Azathoth. Azathoth has the effect that you can also XYZ summon him using any Outer Guard monster, XYZ monster you control, which is Nyla. And then he cannot be used as XYZ material. So it's pretty much saying you cannot throw Azathoth on top of Azathoth. And then after he is XYZ summoned, your opponent cannot activate monster effects. This is so important for his next effect, which if you have a Fusion Synchro XYZ monster, so Noden, Chathuga, Nyla, he can nuke the field. So he destroys all cards your opponent controls. Not yours, but just your opponent's. So, like, just Judgment Dragon, but targeting only your opponent. Now, you throw that on top of the fact that your opponent cannot activate monster effects, so after you blow up their field, they cannot Necro Gardener, they cannot Tragoda, they cannot Gors, they cannot Battle Fader. None of those cards can activate their effects. Also, while you're going to use his effect, Constellar Knight Diamond, a new card for Stellar Knights, cannot negate his effect because he cannot activate his effect. Stardust Dragon cannot negate his effect. Shooting Quasar Dragon cannot negate Azathoth's effect, nor after you destroy Quasar, nor can Quasar summon Shooting Star Dragon. So Azathoth can effectively get rid of Quasar completely after nuking the field if Quasar is not able to stop Azathoth summoning, which would be summoned through cards like Instant Fusion and stuff. So that's why Azathoth's so good. Now, just to go over a few strategies. Let's say you have 2 Azathoths on the field, and you couldn't XYZ for anything else, so you have Flash Fusion. You can hit your opponent for 24, and 24, which is 48. Then you can Flash Fusion them for a Noden, and if you Flash Fusion them and you had Azathoth, you most likely have a Chathuga engrave. So you start them in Chathuga, and then that will hit for game. So that's why Flash Fusion is a little more important in this deck, because it's a quick play style card. Other thing like that's like pretty much the most basic things of the deck. Pretty much E-Tele can bring out a commander where you can start summon a Boost Warrior, Synchro for Chathuga, then normal summon Junk Synchron, special summon Boost Warrior, Synchro for another Chathuga, Flash Fusion 2 Chathugas, draw 2 cards. If you draw an Instant Fusion or you already have an Instant Fusion, you win at that point. But yeah, just to go over a few other cards that you can run in this deck too. This one here, the Trapezohedron of Taboo. This is a really good card. Actually, currently on Dev Pro, its effect doesn't work properly, but just to explain it to you, pretty much if you control a Fusion Synchro monster, you get an Outer Guard, you can special summon an Outer Guard X-Y-Z monster. If you control a Synchro and X-Y-Z monster, you can special summon an Elder Guard Fusion monster. And if you control an X-Y-Z and Fusion monster, you can special summon a Great Old One Synchro monster. Pretty much the effective one is having a Synchro and X-Y-Z monster. So let's say you have Cthulhu and Azathoth and you use this, and you can special summon Nodin from your extra deck, and there you go, you special summon another Cthulhu from grave, and you continue your play, and you keep going into further into OTKs. Unfortunately, on the website currently, how DevPro has it, if you have a Synchro and X-Y-Z monster, it special summons an X-Y-Z monster from your extra deck. I'm not sure why, but it's currently not fixed. Then we have the card Fusion Substitute. This can be ran in place of Flash Fusion. It's not a quick play, but it's pretty much the same thing. You can only use monsters on the field. Now, keep in mind, with this deck, if you're Fusion Summoning, it's going to be a Synchro and X-Y-Z monster. So you can only use monsters on your field anyway. And after you Fusion Summon for Nodin, if you run out of Nodins in your extra deck and you have Instant Fusion in hand, this card will make that Instant Fusion not dead, because it will put that Nodin back into your extra deck from the graveyard. You'll draw one card, and then you can Instant Fusion out Nodin again, and then continue your play. So, Fusion Substitute would be a good replacement for Flash Fusion, unless you wanted to run like 2 Flash Fusion, a Fusion Substitute, or 2 Fusion Substitute, or Flash Fusion. You could honestly run no Flash Fusions, no Fusion Substitutes, and just try to summon Nodin with Instant Fusion alone, or Super Poly. It's a little inconsistent though. You'll draw into cards to summon Nodin less. And the last card I want to mention is Black and White Wave. Black and White Wave, pretty much if you have a face-up X-Y-Z monster with a Synchro monster as an X-Y-Z material. So, Shaduga being one of the only things to X-Y-Z summon with, you almost always have you should always have an X-Y-Z monster as an X-Y-Z material, or a Synchro monster as an X-Y-Z material. You target one card on the field, banish it, so it gets over troublesome cards that can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle, or cards you just want to get rid of right then and there. And if you do that, you draw one card. So it pluses more for the deck. Pretty much as you can see how much draw power is in this deck is meant to plus, very much so. Most of the time, dueling, even if I get really bad hands, I often keep a 4 to 5 card hand. I hardly ever fall below 4 cards. It has happened. I do fall below 4 cards. I have never hit a point where I had no hand though. So, you should always keep hand advantage with this deck. Now, just to mention, because I'm sure you all have noticed, I have no level 4 monsters in this deck, but I only run rank 4 monsters. Needing 3 Nodins, 3 Cthulhu's, it really lessened my extra deck space, and the rank 4 monsters are what I'm going to want anyway, so I just leave my entire base monster base to Synchro summon for Cthulhu. So that way, I can X-Y-Z summon using Cthulhu Nodin, or Balmung if I have to use Balmung. But that's why I run no level 4s. It wouldn't really be too helpful, because the first rank 4 I want to summon, like I said, is Nyrla. And if I ran, let's say, Goblindborg and Star Drawing, I can X-Y-Z summon for one of these, but it's not Nyrla. It just nets me 1 draw. But, like, Tuning Wheel can do that for me anyway, and so can Cthulhu. But, yeah, that's pretty much my deck profile. I hope you all like my HP Lovecraft deck. I will probably post more deck profiles later on. I'll try to also get a duel video out today as well. If y'all want any specific decks, y'all can ask me in the comments. This is Yuusha Steve signing out.